We are going to discuss inverse PCR. In this series of videos we have been discussing different kinds of PCRs. So there are many other types of PCR variants as well. So in this video we are going to have the basic idea of the inverse PCR, what exactly it is and why it is important and what is the exact mechanism, that means how it works, and followed by what are the applications of this inverse PCR. So coming to the first point, what is inverse PCR? So basically, as name indicates, it's a PCR variant. So basically we should learn what exactly is the PCR before we understand this inverse PCR. So basically PCR meant for the polymerase chain reaction. So polymerase chain reaction or PCR is the very widely used, very common procedure in many laboratories, and it is the process of artificially amplifying certain portion of the DNA from the biological sample. So it is an in vitro amplification of the DNA. So basically what it is. So if you want to identify, if you want to isolate some portion of the DNA, if you want to quantify certain portion of the DNA, we need to choose this PCR process. This is prerequisite for many high level experiments. So this is very common process, and this PCR is having its own advantages and disadvantages. So basically this inverse PCR is one of such variant which is designed to nullify some of its complications. So here, during the conventional PCR, we generally use one set of primers, that is one forward primer and one reverse primer. So this forward primer and reverse primer generally covers the area of the target DNA. That means in the template DNA that may be very lengthy, but we are going to trigger a certain portion of the DNA based on the primer designing. That means the forward primer go somewhere and reverse primer will go somewhere, and the portion present between them will be amplified. So that is how we trigger certain portion of the DNA in conventional PCR. So for running conventional PCR, we need to have this forward primer and reverse primer in our hands. But that means we need to have the sequence of these primers known. That means a sequence of the end portions of the target DNA need to be known for us, so that we can design these primers accordingly. They can go and hit their target, and finally they amplify that portion of the DNA. But in some cases this is not possible. The sequence idea of the target DNA is not familiar, or maybe we also have some portion of the DNA sequence which is known for us, but that may be present in the middle of the whole target portion of the DNA. So this known sequence of the DNA is flanked by unknown sequence of the DNA. So what will happen? We cannot simply design these primers so that they can go and trigger this target portion of the DNA directly. But what we only know is the portion of the DNA sequence which is present in middle of that. This known sequence is flanked by these unknown sequences, but still we want to trigger the target DNA to be amplified. What we need to do? Then we need to choose this process called inverse PCR. So during the inverse PCR, we are going to have the DNA amplification, for which the known sequence is flanked by two unknown sequences. So one is upstream and one is downstream to the known sequence. Then what we need to do? How we will trigger the whole target portion. So how it happens? What is the mechanism of this inverse PCR? So coming to that point, as we discussed, let us consider it is as a template, and this is the target portion of the DNA, and this is the portion of the DNA which is known or familiar for the for its sequence. So but we need this portion to be amplified. This is the target portion of the DNA, this is the known portion of the DNA. So what we need to do? So generally in the first step in inverse PCR we generally go for restriction digestion. So during the restriction digestion many small fragments will be formed. Likewise, so many small DNA fragments will be obtained. So one of such restriction digestion product might be having this known DNA sequence in it. So apart from these many other fragments, the desired product will be having known sequence at its middle. So when we go for restriction digestion, we are going to separate this portion, and during the ligation, in the next step is the ligation. So during this ligation step we are going to have small circularized restriction digestion products. That means all these restriction fragments are self-ligated, so that among them this known sequence is also self-ligated, and this is what we need, self-ligated portion of the known sequence. And during the third step what we do, again we go for restriction enzyme digestion, and this restriction enzyme digestion will specifically cleaves the portion somewhere here at the middle of this known sequence. So what will happen? Here the cleavage will take place. That means known sequence will be opened up, and that will be divided into two parts, and this type of linearized DNA will be product will be resulted, which is having known sequences and the unknown sequence which will be in between the known sequence. So here what is happening? Here the unknown sequence which is flanking the known sequence, and here after this restriction enzyme digestion and ligation and followed by the second restriction digestion, the known sequence is now flanking this unknown sequence. So by using this product we can simply design our primers, forward primer and reverse primer, because the portion of the end part of this inverse PCR is already known. That means after these three steps the targeted DNA is changed in such a way that the known portions are now towards their ends of this target DNA. So we can simply design our forward primer and reverse primer, and we can run this PCR reaction, so that in the after this PCR running we are going to have the target portion of the DNA is amplified. So because of its inverted nature of the PCR product, we call it as inverse PCR. So generally this is how the inverse PCR works. Here in this PCR we are going to have the known portion of the DNA which is present between the unknown sequences. So what we need the whole length of the DNA. Then what we do is we'll cut over here and self-ligate that product, so that during the next restriction digestion cycle we are going to have the linearized product that is going to be acts as the template for the PCR reaction, which is having known sequences at their ends, so that the forward and reverse primer can be designed to them, so that the targeted portion of the DNA is amplified. So that is how the inverse PCR is worked. And what is the applications of this? So the applications of the invert PCR is to identify or amplify these jumping genes and transpositions, other kind of gene rearrangements, so in order to do such kind of things, we generally use this inverse PCR. So the flanking regions to the known sequence can also be synthesized. So that is how the inverse PCR works. So hope you understand this concept, and if you like, share and subscribe to my channel, and press bell icon for the further notifications. Thank you.